Good morning, friends. Timothy Wyllie's part 2. And here we go. Timothy, please continue. Tell us anything that you would like to speak of. Well, Gordon, continuing on. First, I would like to reach out to my friends Stephen and Nancy, who requested this interaction to you. And greetings to you both. And as you swim through incarnation, sometimes apart and sometimes as a unity, I wish you well. You may not remember our interactions in Greece or Egypt. That doesn't matter. I'm sure you understand the possibilities and the ramifications. I'm sure you all get that we've been here many times. There are a few newbies just starting out, but the huge majority of human beings have been around for thousands of years as humans. And of course, I'm realizing that fully now in my expanded state. But just a little reminder. And thanks for initiating this. Gordon has been visiting here a number of times since I passed, and he knows that. But he neglected to get around to recording it until you prompted him, Stephen. So I thank you for that. And here's Gordon thanking you too, Stephen. Followers of WordogGord know that I've interacted with many spirits and continue to do so even if I don't record those interactions. I am myself multidimensional, but I try to play act the human thing just to, for the benefit and the comfort of others. And it's my karma to figure it all out, isn't it? Anyway, that's enough about Gordon. Back to you, Timothy. The extraterrestrials, well, they're here. Of course they're here. They visit. Some do live here, as Gordon has pointed out in his memoir. Some extraterrestrials not only take an incarnation as a human fetus in a womb and then grow up as a human. The writings of Miguel Mendonca has put that on the plate that you can study and think about. I've met them. They're just like humans, astral being humans. You might meet somebody who would say, well, yes, I lived in France, I lived in Japan, and then someone else will say, well, I lived in Andromeda, or I lived in the Pleiades, or I came from Sirius. But the person you're looking at is human, and they have little quirks, they're learning to be human. It's even on the astral level, it's a little more limited than what they're used to. But they are absorbing, bit by bit, if you like, the essence of the human dream, the human journey. What actually happens on this planet, Gaia, which doesn't necessarily happen where they're coming from. And, one interacts with them in the same way that one interacts with many cultures. All cultures have their own predilections, passions, prejudices. Although at the astral level, a lot of that is given up, especially in the sphere that I move in. Those that are intently devotedly attached to their ethnic source, whether it be Chinese or Polish or Russian or Australian, whatever. They continue their attachment, but they're, as you can imagine, not really on the level that I'm moving in. I hang my hat in the realm with free spirits who are ready to give up all those limitations, the limitations of religion, the rules and regulations that every one of them puts forth, and the attachment to cultural achievements. Look at our beautiful temples and cathedrals and museums, and all that. Our wonderful folk dancing, and our great creations of ballet and symphony and film and theater. All that goes on here, but in a less culture-bound way. In the same way that a North American such as I, or a Brit come to North America, would enjoy the films of German and Russian, French, Italian directors. We do that here. But as you can imagine, in a more expanded state. Accepting all that comes our way. And of course on lower levels, where you will find people that are very attached to being Buddhist or Catholic or Baptist or Hindu or whatever, Rosicrucians if you like, Masons. I've seen a few stuck in the wool Masons, that still think the Masonic path is the path. Not to provoke them in any way. They can be fine fellows and lovely ladies, but they do have their attachments. What am I attached to, I say to myself? Well, the attachment to the wonderful world of color, the wonderful world of harmony, where mixing colors becomes an ever more subtle art. And of course, I'm on the artistic path. And others are on their paths, creative on many levels, everything you can think of. Architecture and carpentry are a big deal here. The creation of form with the mind is, of course, a big deal, as those of you who have explored that yourselves in your dreams, which become lucid when you remember them. Many of you know what it's like here, but only recall bits and pieces, dribs and drabs, scenes from an ongoing movie. Do not despair. It's not your fantasies. It's not your delusions. It's your projected reality. A lot of us, as they say in the books, permanent astral residents, enjoy your visits and chuckle when you don't remember the last one that we have to remind you of. So if you catch us chuckling and think, why are they always laughing over there? That's why. We understand the limitation that physicality puts upon you. And because we were there once too. And our tolerance is our forgiveness, is our joy. I can feel some of you are asking about intimate relations. They are indeed possible and ongoing. And one can be intimate in the old-fashioned way, what we think of as old-fashioned. And there are mergings possible at the various chakra levels. And if you say merge at the level of the third eye, I think a lot of you know what the third eye is, there's a tendency to disappear into the experience in an ecstatic bliss that allows you to forget personality and become something else that you cannot quite define other than saying it's blissful. So you have your intimate partners that are now quote-unquote dead, those who loved you, and those who shared your intimacies and, how shall I say, personality quirks. They're here. And so are all kinds of others that you didn't know from your 20th century life, that sat that one out, and whom you know from, let's say, Renaissance Italy. Just to throw one into the mix. There's lots of that. People will meet you and go, don't remember me, huh? And then they will quickly morph into what they looked like in 1540 or 1610, and you go, oh my God, it's you. That sort of a thing. There's a lot of that. And again, lots of chuckling. People don't stamp their feet and get angry. They do on the lower levels. There's a lot of stamping their feet and getting angry, as we say, down there, where some of us go to help out if we can. I give art lessons down on the lower levels, where people are, pretty stuck in their ways and wanting to only recreate the forms that they tried, perhaps somewhat unsuccessfully when they were on Earth. They look to me and others like me as inspiring teachers, which I'm willing to do. But I do have to enter their rather culture-bound, narrow mentalities to do so. And that can be a little bit of a challenge. Okay, I can see some of you are saying, okay, what about Terence McKenna? What about Timothy Leary and Ram Dass? Well, I've met them all. They're here, they're around. Terence is a particularly fascinating character, and he has a tendency not to actually be there. You go looking for him as well. Somebody will say, well, he was here a while ago, but he's not here now. And it's like a game of cat and mouse with Terence, And as Gordon noted, you can see him as a sort of a cosmic orb out floating in space. And that's just one of his manifestations. And I have been asked to say a hello to the earthbound artist Alex Gray. Alex, please continue your inspiring work. The people on Earth love it and really need to see it. And may you inspire other psychedelic visions in those who admire your work and wish to experience that multidimensionality that you portray. So what else do you want me to talk about? Music? There's all kinds of music here. There's no lack of everybody's here. Beethoven's hanging around, Coltrane's hanging around, John Lennon's here, David Bowie's here. There's all kinds of people here. So don't worry about that. It's all here. All of it. There's nothing that isn't here. And with that little thought in mind, there is nothing that isn't here, and there's no one that isn't either here or visiting. I leave you. Farewell, my multidimensional friends. God bless.